Hello.
Hello. Gav's here.
Here he is.
This convo, are we going to have a good discussion on VAs then?
Well, it seems to be all anybody wants to speak about these days, Gav, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I thought it would, it's the trendy topic, and you seem to be the man who runs half of the world's VAs, so I want to know how you do it.
I mean, for a start, I'm going to say people are getting VAs way too fucking early, man. Like, a lot of people in the space right now are getting VAs, and they don't even have, like, 10k total capital. Forgive the wind, by the way. I'm still walking home right now.
No worries.
Fucking windy as fuck, shit. Bro, it's like a tornado here, man. If you don't even have 10k capital, you should probably just man up and put more effort in, to be honest. And with groups like your groups, guys, they get plenty of leads anyway, so it should be quite easy to spend 10k.
That's the thing, Gav, isn't it? Like, what's the point in bringing yourself loads and loads of leads if you haven't got the money to buy those leads with? And you're signed up to groups, so don't jump too soon just because you see everyone else doing it. I feel like we spoke about this last week, but look to outsource other things first. If you really want to outsource stuff, why not just pay for something like Amazon labelling service to start with, you know? That will save you a bit of time, because it's
Prep
not
Centre,
just
man.
about... Well,
Prep
yeah,
Centre
Prep
should be the first.
Prep Centre, yeah. I mean, I've just had a 20k month, and I don't outsource anything yet. I mean, yeah, I've got VAs for certain things, but they don't source anything for me. I do all my labelling, do all my own packaging, and yeah, maybe I have a bit more time than other people do, but don't go hell for leather too early, otherwise you will have no profit to show for it. That's my
Exactly.
opinion, anyway.
And it's people getting VAs who can't afford VAs. That's the real issue, because they think they get this VA, they pay $1,000, they've got $5,000 towards capital. They're now down to 4k. So, and there's like a time investment on that VA getting up to scratch as well, including the cash cycle time. So you're basically just completely fucking yourself over, because you're probably going to lose money. You can't afford that VA. If you've got 4k, 30% off that is 1.2k, assuming you get 30% ROI. But then with like a cash cycle time of like 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, you're probably just going to be negative.
Why do you think, then, Gav, that people are getting them way too early? What do you think's causing this?
I think it's a mixture. It's a mixture of the affiliate links. Like, some people like push people too early to get VAs because they want the affiliate money. Or some people just need to man up and do some proper sourcing themselves. Like, as I said earlier, they jump in the boat too early. They don't have enough time. So they're like, okay, I'll get a VA. But hold on a minute, you got 5k, you have no idea how to manage this VA, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, your goal is to put more time in at the start. That's how it works for these businesses, right?
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Ridley, on it all?
I think people fantasize too much about the idea of having like a passive income so they try to outsource everything as soon as they can before they actually know how to run the business themselves. I think you should be able to do everything before you outsource it. Like, you should know how to do every part of your business within reason. I think too many people are. It is a trend lately. Everyone's getting the VAs, and I think it's worth it for some people. But as you said, and as you made that thread the other day, didn't you, Gravy, about someone was it someone from your group who got one too early?
Yeah, they were a bit panicky, really. They were.
Yeah, I think it's just a common theme these days. I mean, when you're scaling up, you've got to kind of do it in stages, and I think people are maybe jumping ahead a few steps.
It's kind of natural for us as humans to try and do things as easily as possible with as little effort as possible. And if we can spend money to do that, we do often look to take that route. And I don't blame people for doing it, but the most important thing with any of this reselling is you're building a side hustle to make extra profit, or you're building a business to turn a profit. So you need to be on top of your numbers, whether that being using a spreadsheet, using accounting software, talking to a bookkeeper, your accountant, like, you need to know what sort of margins you're working with. And if you just chuck on extra costs all the time, you might have some really pretty graphs.
Mm-hmm.
People might be impressed by your orange bars on your graphs and be jealous of you for it, but you might not be making anywhere near as much money as people with half the amount of sales as you. So just be careful. That's all I'll say on that one.
So I think what can be done though, there's an easy way to counter this though, right? Because other people who are getting VAs go through fast track. So it's like, what I say to these guys is, use my affiliate link, I'll give you free consultation on mentoring the VA, and anyone who DMs me about it, the first thing they ask them is how much money they've got. Like, if they come like, I got 5 or 6K, I'm like, bro, you don't need a VA yet. Do more work yourself. So, if they come to a consultation first, that can sort of cut away the loss. I think the only exception to getting a VA early is if someone comes to me and they're like, Gav, I got 20, 30K, I'm new to this, I want to scale it fucking quick, I want mentorship. In that scenario, I'm like, okay, so you can get a VA on like your 3rd week, because they're going to leverage mentorship to make that happen. Otherwise, yeah, like if you want a VA, speak to someone who's in the game, like myself, you guys, Gage, Ben, and make sure they're in a good spot to get a VA. Because a lot of the people who are getting VAs right now, it's not the best choice. They just want it because it's like the luxury thing.
How do you feel, Gav, about the experience side of things in that situation? Someone who's got 20K to start with. Do you think, how do you feel experience comes into it on Amazon and that?
So if they've got mentorship, it doesn't really, like, that experience can be negated, because any experience they need is something that one of us will give them so they can work it out. Now, bearing in mind, like, a lot of the people who I get from mentorship, they come to me with a lot of time and money. So if they've got time and money, then they can start outsourcing early. But only if you've got mentorship. I think that's the only, like, scenario where I think it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise, I guess you're blind to, and if you're not in a reselling group as well, you're kind of a bit lost with, if something goes wrong at Amazon, you come across a hurdle, you've got no one to turn to. But if I'm honest, mate, I don't think people who aren't, I think most of the people who are getting virtual assistants are ones that are in groups already, or are talking to a mentor. I do think that's probably what is happening. So there we go. That's VAs.
How many VAs have you got at the moment, Gav?
I did have 6, but I fired one. I'm getting a replacement soon. So I'm going to have 6 again. And hopefully I'm up to about 7 or 8 by early next year.
Okay. And are they all sourcing? Are they all sourcing VAs?
I have 4 sourcers and 1 admin VA. One of the sources is also a purchasing manager. I think that they've all got about 3 months plus experience now. Mm-hmm. So they're providing, like, on average 10 to 15 deals per day. So they're doing really fucking good.
I think we need to kind of look to maybe change the phrasing a bit for VAs, because everyone just thinks that they're all deal sources, but a VA is basically another employee for your business. They could be doing anything from a virtual location, so it doesn't, nothing physical obviously, because they can't touch your goods and that, but they're just an employee. Like, you can have one for admin, you can have one for, like Gav just said, purchasing, deal finding, it could be anything. HR. You might need an HR one soon.
Oh, bro, maybe. Before I even got a sourcing VA, though, I had an admin VA first. Like, it's what your business needs, not what, like, you just want out of, like, a emotional type response. Because in my aspect, when I first got my first VA, I was just sharing shitloads of printers. So having a sourcing VA made no sense. So it's straight from an admin VA to do all the bullshit that I don't like. Because at the end of the day, the sourcing is the main money bringer for your company. So it shouldn't be one of the first things to be fully outsourced. It should be one of the last, because that's what your company relies on for the profits.
That's true. It's very true. And you think things like bookkeeping, which is very time consuming, or inventory management, you can outsource that sort of thing. I've seen people talking about outsourcing their bookkeeping, which is not a bad idea, as long as people got to be good. And you're looking at you got to look at reviews for people like that because.
Are you talking about bookkeeping or inventory management?
Bookkeeping. So look,
doesn't Robin do that? Our accountant.
He's not my accountant, but yeah, Robin does do it, I presume. I can't really speak for Robin. You can, though. Yeah,
I think Robin does do that. And then at the end, I'll just review all the transactions just to confirm if they're VAT or non-VAT. So because I use the ultimate sourcing sheet, I keep track on the VAT of specific items. So when I do the monthly or the quarterly review, I can just go and update any orders, just like non-VAT, for example. Because you could use the same website and have a non-VAT order and a VAT order, depending on what you're ordering.
Yeah, it's a pain. Well, it might be worth us talking about software that people are using outside of sourcing software. Once you're getting the sale and how you, as a limited company, how you handle that once the sale's gone through. I've certainly got a system in place. Gav, do you have a system or do you leave that to Robin to sort out?
So I use something called the ultimate sourcing sheet. So I'll explain the whole process of how we do it. So with 4 sourcing VAs, we used to have like a separate Excel sheet for each VA, and we used to colour it red, green, or yellow. Yellow was to be purchased, green was purchased, and red was shit deal. Now, that was a fucking mess with so many VAs. So now I have one Excel sheet with all VAs on that in different tabs. Then we just do red or green, and then we have what's called a pre-purchase sheet. So everything that's a good deal, we move to the pre-purchase sheet, then we can sort it, so we can easily like just batch purchase all deals. Once they've been purchased, they'll then move to the ultimate sourcing sheet, and then the VA is also going to move it to the prep sheet and update the cost of goods on STK.
What about when things sell, Gav? What's happening? Are you getting disbursements, the reports coming out of Amazon? Is that pushing through to anywhere?
Yeah, that goes into ultimate sourcing sheet. Do you guys use it?
Okay. No. I've got a totally different setup to you actually. Ridley, what do you use, mate?
I started using Link My Books.
Yeah.
Quite recently. Because before that, like when I first started, I didn't have anything set up in place, and I was basically doing it all manually and downloading all the info straight off Seller Central and just trying to sort that out myself. And I think it was you who I saw mention that you use Link My Books, so you might not now, but I think you might have mentioned it at some point. And I set that up, and then that's just connected to Xero. So I just get all my settlements sent through to there, and that works well for me.
You got the same setup as me, Ridley. Then Link My Books. Yeah, Link My Books because it incorporates eBay as well. So for anyone who's not sure what this software does, it's what you call bridging software. So it will bridge the gap between Amazon and eBay, and then your accounting software, which you will need if you're going to be running a limited company. You don't really need to worry about it as a sole trader, but as a limited company, if you get there, you will need that. And this Link Your Books or A2, what's the other one called?
A2XA, I think.
That's it, A2X. That's it.
So what do you guys use for your inventory management then?
Look, Cav, I've been looking for a long time to get some proper inventory management software in. There's some fucking expensive stuff. There's Sellerboard, which does it in part. There's Somfully, which will eventually do it, hopefully. But at the minute, I'm doing it all manually, mate.
Do you use
spreadsheet.
STK?
No, I use my own spreadsheet for it, which is kind of a fix for now, but it is a big pain.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm the same. I'm still on the lookout for the perfect tool to use.
I would really recommend looking into the ultimate sourcing sheet, man. Like, it's fucking expensive, but it's like the life of my business. It solved so many of my scaling problems before I even got to them.
I'm sure you got an affiliate link kicking around, Gavin. Yeah.
Bro, I wasn't even gonna plug in an affiliate link either, man. I'm just like, bro, it's just fucking sick. That with STK, because the STK repricer is really good too.
Just going back to the bridging software, Link My Books or A2X, they basically pull all of the disbursements out of Amazon when you request a payout. Mm-hmm. And then you just need to add your cost of goods into that bit of software and then sort through it all. And then you can push it through to your accounting software and it'll match it up with your payout from Amazon. So it creates all of the transactions within your accounting software, puts them all in the right account. And if you know about accounting, if you know about the finance side of things, then you can do it yourself. But a lot of people do offer that sort of service within their accounting subscription. So I think Robin offers that, doesn't he, Gav? Something like Link My Books and Xero.
I was going to say, bro, like, what you were just saying then went well over my head. I have no clue.
You pay someone to do it.
Yeah.
But, look, you're way over, I don't know, what's you're like 40, 50 grand a month, aren't you, your sales at the minute?
This month was 40, I think it's like 36. I got a bit dicked over by switching to that prep centre because there's like 800 units that haven't been sent out yet.
Wow.
Since middle of the month. So my projection for this month was between 50 and 60k. So that got a bit, yeah.
You've got a bit more profit that you're probably working with than us at the minute, where you're thinking, yeah, I'll pay for that. Because time's the thing we all want more of, isn't it? And at the minute, I'm happy to do my own admin. I quite enjoy numbers though, mate.
It depends on what you like and what you don't like. Because for myself, me putting in like cost of goods and stuff into Excel sheets, I don't know why. I just keep getting it fucking wrong. I just can't do it. Like, I'm just absolutely stupid at doing that kind of stuff. So it makes sense for me just to outsource it. But I mean, STK is only like 25 quid a month or so. So, I mean, yeah, it depends on the profit you're making and how much time it's going to save. But STK, USS, and Sangaramp, they're like the trifecta, man. Because STK hooks into Sangaramp as well. So STK for replenishments is absolutely banging.
Are they linked to Selleramp?
So you can link it to Sangaramp, yeah, there's direct integration. So,
I mean,
when you're
looking at... Are the companies linked?
Oh, no. They're just good friends with each other.
Okay.
In terms of outsourcing stuff, like, for me, that was the first thing I wanted to do was get that sort of taxi, admin-y side of it. Just using these softwares I'm more than happy to pay for because I'm a bit like Gav with the putting numbers into Excel. Like, I can do it, but it's like boring as fuck, and I don't trust myself to always get it right, and I'd rather just be paying for something that's going to do it for me. And I guess that's the whole reason you start outsourcing things. You got to keep doing what you're good at, and if you're shit at something, pay someone else to do it for you.
It sounds, all of this is really boring talking about admin. But I will add that is so fucking important. You know your numbers, and that's why admin is important. You need to know your numbers to know how much profit you're making, what your margins are as a business.
Yeah,
if you don't,
everyone when they start doing this, like, just glosses over that at the start. Not everyone, but most people just kind of don't think about it. And then like 6 months in, they're like, oh shit. And then like, oh, I've got so much to catch up on. And then it can like, that can really slow down like their business because they're trying to catch up on 6 months of books that they haven't been keeping. And like, it really is worth just getting it all set up at the start so that you don't find yourself like having to claw back months of admin.
And I think also a lot of people, they look at the deal cards or the profitable items that people post in groups and look at the percentage, estimated profit and estimated ROI that the admins post. But there's a big difference of what you actually get depending on whether you're a individual account on Amazon, so you're just, or personal account, sorry, and you're paying VAT on Amazon fees, compared to if you're a sole trader on there and you're not paying VAT on fees, and if you're a VAT registered company, there's a big difference to what profit you're actually making. Mm-hmm. So you need to keep track of it. And I will just say to you guys there that aren't set up as sole traders yet, yes, you may be benefiting from the fact that you're not paying tax on any profits you're earning, which is, of course, a murky area. But you will also be probably a good, especially on the lower profit items. Say you're only making £2 or £3 profit on an item, you're probably going to be £1 profit worse off than people that are registered as a sole trader and not paying VAT on those Amazon fees. You sell something for £6, if you are paying VAT on fees, and say the fees are £5 on something, if you're paying VAT on top of that, the fees are £6 compared to somebody who's not paying VAT, who just pays for £5 fees. That could be a big difference when it comes to low value items. So just have a think about that. It could be as much as 10% difference to the ROI on certain items.
Mate, VAT is a scam, bro. Whenever I see my listings, man, and I see all these non-VAT registered sellers, I'm like, oh, fuck, I know what's happening with this listing. It's going to the gutter.
Do you find that's really common? A really common thing now, just like non-VAT registered sellers just killing listings?
Yeah, there's a lot of new sellers hopping on every single day, and a lot of them are very inexperienced, so they're happy to crash the price to, like, just the bottom, really. But then, for a VAT registered seller, your 10% ROI is like 20% for the non-VAT.
Yeah.
So they can crash it a lot further.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating. So how do you counter that then? Avoid items that they're likely to be on?
So the way my strategy works, we kind of just hit it like a spray cannon. We hit everything, and then we just replenish the good items. Our min on our repricer is at like 10%, sometimes 5% or 0%. So in the UK, a lot of these listings don't recover. And because I have about 500 unique active listings, I can't watch every single one. So we're just very aggressive with our selling, and then we just replenish the very good ones. I think that's the way we do it.
So as long as you're breaking even, okay, I guess it's not really a disaster if listings are crashed.
Exactly. Whereas if you kept if I was to try and keep a min 20% or 30% ROI on items, once that item starts tanking down, it takes like 3, 4, 5 months to recover in the UK market for a lot of the items. Unless it's like sub 10k sales rank, those items recover quick. But otherwise, you might see something with a 40k sales rank, and you see the offer count at like 40, and it just makes no fucking sense.
I remember seeing a thing previously, Gav, about you tweeting saying you're going to be deliberately crashing some listings. What's the story behind that?
Oh, yeah, so I had this idea a while back for these hot items where all these people kept undercutting me. So I would nuke the item to break even, or lower than break even. I'll get everyone to compete, and then once they start competing, I'll whack my price back up. So they all sell out really quick because the sales rank is really good. It's like sub 1,000 or something like that. So I'll get them all competing at the lowest possible price, and I'll whack mine back up. And because the price has been nuked, it's a popular item, the sales rank goes even better. So the sales velocity just goes fucking mental. They all sell out at break even, and the price goes back up to my price.
Did it work though?
It did work. No, it did work. It was on the cover spell listing. The water filters. I remember doing it on that. There's a bit of market psychology with it that goes around.
That's hilarious.
I don't do that anymore though.
Could you not create 2 different price points? Like you can send a batch of stuff into FBA at one price and then create another listing.
Yeah, you can.
Another price. So you could have one that crashes a listing with a small amount of stock on it, and then the rest at a higher price point.
But then I think that's more effort though, because if I sell a few of them at break even, that's fine. And I can just flip it back up. Because people's reprices is going to like automatically compete. Once one repricer competes, another guy's going to compete. The guy without a reprice is going to be like, oh fuck, I need to get rid of this quick. So he'll undercut the repricer. And my price is already back up to normal.
Shall we talk about reprices then, since we're talking about this? We're talking about scaling and outsourcing.
Yeah.
Reprices haven't really been mentioned by a lot of people recently. I think it's almost a given now that people are onto it. But what do you guys use?
I've not used a repricer. I'm ready to learn all the tricks of the trade.
How many ASINs you got, Ridley, do you reckon?
Cool. I don't even know. I'll I'll have to go into Seller Central and have a look.
What do you reckon? 50, 100?
Yeah, but between 50 and 100 probably.
What do you reckon, Gav? I think it's time for him.
I do think it's time, man. Fucking hell. Imagine trying to like manually price them items. Holy shit. Because the price changes like so constantly, man. The fluctuation is insane. So you're potentially losing a lot of sales depending on the type of items that you have. But if it's all like Lego that you're holding to like the end of November, early December or whenever for Q4, then it kind of makes sense. But I don't know, man. I can't imagine doing Amazon without a repricer anymore. I think.
Yeah. Do you set your repricer in terms of like do you put like a minimum ROI, or is it literally just a minimum price point and you have to calculate the ROI? Like, does the repricer allow you to put in your cost of goods and shit like that?
So mine works with STK. So I update my cost of goods in STK, and then all the active items are apply a default rule for the STK repricer. At the moment, I think I'm using minimum 10% ROI. Then there's a bunch of other rules, like if I'm the only prime seller, I'll increase price by 10%. If I'm the only seller on that listing at all, I'll increase the price by 50%. So it's just a bunch of rules. And then if someone's price changes lower than mine, as long as it doesn't go below my min price, it'll just match them within 15 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm using Profit Protector Pro Ridley, which you have to enter in your cost of item, and then you set yourself a minimum ROI like Gav does. So like I work on a certain percentage, and then you set yourself a maximum for each item as well. You've got to be careful of the maximum though, because if you put it too high, you can get compliance issues come through from Amazon for breach of the unfair pricing policy. And they can stick around 180 days on your account when it's just a mistake on your repricer. So you've got to be careful. But I think it will save you a lot of stress, mate, for anyone else listening back as well. If you've got more than, I don't know, maybe 20 ASINs and items that are regularly selling especially, take a bit of stress off yourself, get a repricer for 35 quid a month. You won't obsess over it either. Yeah. And it'll give you more time. I think you can easily obsess over these things.
You'll see a crazy increase in sales as well, man. Like, as long as you start to understand how pricing works in Amazon and a bit of like Amazon market psychology, I think you're kind of ready to get a repricer, to be honest. It's something that you don't want to spend too long doing yourself, because it is an absolute ball ache. And what you'll realise very quickly is that most items in the UK just tank.
It's true. One of the good things about Repricer, guys, is it doesn't just try and win the buy box by undercutting people and going down, down, down. When it does get it, it will then, you can put a strategy in place where it tries to bring it up again, and it will start rising in increments. So you can end up getting 10% more than you expected on an item, and you never would have manually updated that price and increased it that much. So it does work both ways.
To add to that on what you said on increase in price, whenever you add a listing to Amazon, you should always try and put the price like 10 or 20% higher than what you're actually aiming to sell it for. Because by the time it gets to Amazon, a lot of people may have sold out of the item, so the price might be going up anyway. Now, my repricer, though, has a snooze button. So between 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., every single item goes to the maximum price, and then it starts repricing again from the bottom, which is really good, because if other sellers are doing that, we collectively raise the price. So let's say like the normal price is at 10 quid, but the snooze brings it up to 15 quid. Now everyone's at 15 quid, and it starts repricing from there.
Bloody hell. Sounds like market manipulation to me, Gaz. You know, it's funny you do that. So you set your prices higher. I do the same, but I also have my listings closed until they become stranded and checked in at Amazon. So then, as soon as they're checked in and available, I'm like, right, I'll open them up again.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it fucking is. And often, like this weekend, I'll forget to take things out stranded, and I'll have items sitting for 2 days in stranded. They could be on sale, so... Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Like, what,
because...
What's the win?
It's not really so much a win, it's just the IPI calculations, where if I list stuff to send in and it's set as out of stock whilst they're waiting to check it in, I presume that's going against me negatively off my IPI score. Would I be wrong?
I think you're just being paranoid, man, to be honest.
When you got an IPI under 500, you're paranoid about every single little thing.
Oh, fuck. How come that's the case?
Because I wasn't shifting stock quick enough. It's all my fault.
Is it printer? Is it like swimming pool, sorry?
No, it's nothing oversized. It's more standard size stuff. People will know me as being an ROI hunter, and I wait for people to sell out, but some of the stuff I'm obviously sending in too early, and using Amazon more as a storage space rather than a fulfillment center. So it's my own fault. But
I got it.
Strategy has been adjusted since the crackdown.
How's your inventory limits now, guys?
Mine, I think I've got like 200 square foot.
Fuck me. So storage-wise, yours is lovely, isn't it? 200 cubic
How
foot.
about units?
Well, what's yours, Gav? Unlimited.
Unlimited units.
Mine's 12,100 max.
Lovely.
I don't see how I could fucking fill that, man. That's like 150k worth of stock.
You better get spending, mate.
Mate, I need a loan.
Need some
I'm
more
looking for a
lending.
loan right now.
1,000 units is mine.
That's not bad, mate. It's fucking hard to fill that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've got 3,155, but because I've got a storage limit of 58 cubic foot,
Yeah.
I've got 600 units in. It keeps going up every week. My restock limit keeps going up. They tell me I can have more and more units in. 3,000 units, but only 58 cubic foot.
Fuck, man. Bro, if I was you, I would like just switch to a super aggressive repricer and just aim for very expensive beauty products.
Yeah.
Because then you can spend a lot of capital without taking in a lot of space with good sales velocity.
Small,
so maybe
pricey items.
To be fair though, I think people with like lower capital, I'm a bit more against them doing higher ticket items. Because if you're risking like, 50 quid or 30 to 50 quid purchase price for an item you're going to make 20 to 30% ROI on, then I think the returns are going to sting you quite a bit. Whereas if you've got plenty of capital, then even though it's like a 50 quid return, it's not going to do much.
I think you need to think of it like, I used to play quite a bit of poker, and I'm sure a lot of people listening have been involved in gambling or to some extent. I can see someone here actually with a picture of them with a hoodie up at a poker table. RM1, who's listening, so I presume he's a poker man. But the big thing about not going bust at playing things like poker is make sure you implement bankroll management, and you only have like 5% of your total bankroll in play at any time. So you can apply that to reselling and think, okay, this is a good item, but I'm only going to have 5% of my total capital in this item. And then if you've got 20 different lines or items, you've only got 5% in each of them. That means if one tanks or one doesn't sell quick enough, you've not got all your money in that item. So I think it's quite a good strategy to apply to this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Do any of you keep track of your spend or capital you got in each of your items? Gav, I'm sure yours is tiny percentage in each one. You've got so many ASINs, but is it something you think about?
I think I spent about $2,500 recently on anti-hair thinning shampoos. I've got a lot of makeup palettes as well, but I do think about it in terms of like what's the possibility that I'm going to get an IP complaint on this item.
Yeah. Which
for the makeup palettes, I think it's like 30 or 40% chance of getting an IP complaint, but the ROI is like 60 to 150% over Q4. So me dropping $2,000 in them is pretty good risk versus reward ratio. So I don't think of it too much, but now that I'm having less capital available, with my team sourcing so much, I'm trying to go a little bit wider still. So I am thinking about it, but it depends on the ROI and the sales velocity. Because if you're looking at like a sub 5k item, I'm obviously much happier having a higher amount of capital in that particular item, because it's got less chance of being tanked because the purchasing power behind it is so high, and you get your money back a lot quicker to buy more goods because it's selling so quick.
It's interesting what someone like Ben Ben's percentage would have looked like in the summer with his pools. He could have had like 40%, or maybe not 40%, but maybe as much as 20% of all his capital in one particular item at some point, which is scary as fuck to me.
Bro, so in February, I had about 90 to 95% of my capital all in printers. Well over 1,000 printers I had.
But they're not all one printer type, are they? They're different.
But it's the same
models.
trend.
Yeah.
It's the same trend, though.
Yeah. That scares the hell out of me.
No, bro, I seen the market starting to shift for that, and I was like, fuck. I'm like, okay, what's the best way of liquidating all these printers? The best action was no action. If I start, like, tanking the listings, trying to clear stock, when I've got, like, 150 XP4100s, like, everyone's just going to panic.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, just price match, and just don't buy anymore.
You was the market maker in that sense, wasn't you?
Yeah. Like, it's a very interesting perspective that you gain when you become, like, have so much stock that you kind of dictate the price movement. Because if nobody's going to undercut you. If they undercut you, you can just fuck them. I can just nuke the price, and then they have to compete. I can just flip the price back up.
Yeah. Connor, you're able to jump on at all, mate, because you're a man turning some big numbers. It'd be great to hear from you about scaling and what you suggest people do.
Oh, yeah.
We're asking about scaling and scaling your side hustle. Obviously, you're a man who's been doing this, 4 years?
Yeah, right.
On Amazon, yeah. But yeah, talk to us about scaling. Like, how did you turn it from 10 grand months to, well, even 2 grand months to 10 grand months to 20 grand to 30 and to where you are now?
I'll be honest, I'm not really too sure. It's just kind of happened. It was sort of just going wide and deep on certain things. Obviously I've scaled up just from my house to a little storage unit to an actual office. And now I've got, I think, about 2,500 items in FBA.
Nice.
But honestly, I buy a lot of stuff. I'm not really sure how it's worked out, but I've scaled massively.
You do all your own sourcing though, don't you?
I use a lot of groups, and I don't have any VAs or prep centers or anything, so it's just myself.
Mm.
That's impressive for that amount of items as well, man.
It's just proof really that you don't have to outsource stuff. Like Connor, he plays it down a lot, but you know he works his arse off.
Yeah.
Maybe only for 5 hours a day, Connor, but you still work your arse off, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
And you think you're shifting a lot of stuff FBM as well? Was you in the summer?
In the summer, pretty much everything. All the pools and kayaks and stuff.
Yeah, that's not easy, is it? You got to lug everything around.
Yeah, I was moving massive trolley loads. So I was on the second floor of my storage unit. So it was up and down constantly.
You say FBM, you're doing all that FBM?
Yeah.
Connor, what made you go storage unit instead of prep center?
I'm not really too sure, if I'm honest, but I like managing my own stuff.
Yeah.
I never really looked into a prep center properly.
Is that a trust thing?
A little bit, but not massively.
You know what I worry about with prep centres, Gav, and you've used them a lot, right? I've seen a lot of prep centres that offer a deal sourcing, like a deal service, and I think it's a bit of a conflict of interest, because you know what I think you're sending your items into them, they're making a note of every single brand that's coming through, they've got access to every single listing, and they can easily just put them all into a spreadsheet and then sell a service where they provide these deals to everyone. Is that me being...
No, I was thinking the exact same thing the other day.
That could be the case, but we're just dealing on possibilities there. And is it going to affect your business? If it's going to affect the listings of my business, and I'll be pretty pissed at that. But when you think about it, a good prep center will have hundreds and hundreds of clients. So how is that even going to work? Are they going to pick 10 deals sporadically from 100 people? It's I don't know, man. I don't really buy into that. I do the concept of trust until proven otherwise.
Yeah. I don't think they all do it. I've just seen a few that offer that service, and I do.
Yeah.
My instincts were, what the fuck? That doesn't seem to tie in with what the prep centre service, deal sourcing. Strange one to me.
A lot of them used to be sellers themselves, so they probably have their own sources. So it's probably more of like an incentive to try and get people to use their prep centre. But the reality is, if you've got 100 people using that deal service, it's going to be shit anyway. Unless they're going to have dedicated sources and they only share it to like 5 to 10 people. In fact, one thing we haven't talked about actually is ways of raising capital for Q4. So I think that's really quite important, as Q4 is the biggest time that we have to raise as much capital as possible, like from selling stuff. So are you guys doing anything in particular to get more capital for Q4?
Mine's a very quick one, Gav. I'll answer it very quickly and let Ridley talk, because I'm fucking hogging the mic. I'm in a position where I am somewhat limited by my storage limit. So my expectations have dropped somewhat. I'm also away for 2 weeks in November, in the middle of November, which fucking kills me.
Can you not start FBM?
Do I want to be doing a huge amount of FBM over Christmas? Not at all. Really. Can
you not use a middleware service that offers FBM fulfillment for you?
Oh, I'm sure I could, mate. I'm sure I could. But to your initial question, how am I raising capital? Yeah, I mean, we've got credit card facilities. Amazon offered me a loan, which is there. I think I've got 2 weeks to make a decision on that. So I haven't really got an issue there. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay at the minute. What about you, Ridley?
Yeah, I don't have any big insightful strategy on it. I'm just a lot of my items are Q4 items, like toys and stuff that I buy throughout the year. But I'm just like in the summer when I'm flipping like seasonal items and things like that. I'm just trying to build up as much capital as possible in sort of that time of year, so that I can just go big on everything for Q4, because that's where the biggest money is made, really.
I pretty much just whack everything on the Amex, and hope to God I can pay it off by the end of the month. But Amazon did offer me a 40 grand loan. I did take that as well, which has definitely helped.
I bet you took that, Connor, without even thinking, what am I taking it for? You just thought, fuck it, I'm having it.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can tell. I'm getting the theme here. I don't really know. I'm just fucking doing it, but it's working, isn't it?
It sounds like you're winging absolutely everything, but it's working perfectly.
Pretty much.
Mental, man. So yeah, for myself then. So I think I have about 3 to 4 credit cards with all about a 6k spend limit. So I'm probably going to max every single credit card. I've also got about 20k left of personal money that I'm injecting into the business. And then I've sold access to my deal sheet to 3 people for 1.5k per month. Because my VAs, collectively, we probably have about 700 to 800 deals per month being submitted right now. And during November and December, that's going to be like way higher. On top of that, I'm hoping for an Amazon loan as well. If Amazon don't offer me a loan, I'm looking into another deal service provider. I think I posted it on Twitter. So I am looking for additional loans too.
Did you just say 1.5k per month?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's for people, like the only people who can be accepted into that have like 40k plus.
Oh, of course, yeah. Fuck yeah, it's not someone with 2k capital who sign up to that, isn't it?
Exactly. Some guy I was talking to had about 15k, so I had to turn him down. I was like, yeah, you could make money from it, but the reality is you're going to make potentially 3 to 5k, so it's not really worth it in your situation. But if someone has like 40k, they're going to make like 9-10 grand from it.
It's crazy that people pay that sort of money because they could have easily got themselves 3 or 4 VAs for that amount of money, couldn't they? Training
time, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
If you think about how long it takes to train them, so they'll miss Q4. This is why it can only work during Q4, because the Q4 sales is just absolutely ridiculous. And if they get a VA now, their VAs are not going to be up to the same scratch as my VAs during Q4. So it's like, they can get the VAs now and start training them, and then fine. Then they supplement that with my deal sheet to just completely boost them.
You should have started at 3K, mate. Brought it down 50% off offer this weekend only.
Fucking hell. Bro, all slots for it was sold within 24 hours. It was insane.
Wow.
I can't believe I got so much demand. But I mean, I showed them October's deal sheet before anything to give them an expectation of what it's going to be like. And they can have a look through the October's deal sheet. And then I'm like, okay, during November as well, half of November, I'm paying my VAs 1.5 times overpay. So a lot of them are also going to be doing overtime. So it's just a massive win-win.
Gav, can we move on to another topic, right? And I'm going to talk to you about this one because I watched your Rat Race Runaways podcast the other day. It's great to see your face as well, rather than just hear your voice. And the same with Ben and Gage as well. So I enjoyed that. And you guys were talking about Lego. Someone said about Lego investing. Is it a trap? And the blanket answer was yes, across the board. And I'm interested, really, what Ridley's got to say about this. Because we're approaching a time of year. We've got Black Friday coming up in less than 4 weeks. The Black Friday week. So you can buy a lot of sets at discount. And obviously then a huge amount of sets are going to be retiring in December. So there's going to be offers out there and some good opportunities. So,
okay, but I think what you're saying there is a little bit different because when we was talking about is Lego a trap, the issue with Lego is that people want to hold it for like forever, man. Because right now you're talking about buying it on like Black Friday and selling it within a month. And that's absolutely fine. But the concept of Lego on Twitter that we always see is that people are holding it for like 12 or 6 months, like a ludicrous amount of time, where in reality you can just keep flipping and just make way more money.
That's what I wanted to talk about, because I'm not talking about holding it for a few weeks and then selling it. I'm talking about holding it for a year post-retirement and getting your 100% plus returns and selling it. And
does that make any sense, though? Does that make any sense?
I want to hear what Ridley thinks. Look, Ridley might be a bit biased, but let's get a balanced opinion.
Right. So
see it both ways.
I think when people have this debate, they always make out that it's like one or the other. Like you have to either like quick flip items non-stop, or you have to go and spend 10 grand on Lego, then sit on your ass for a year and wait for the price to go up. Like, I just do both. Like, I enjoy reselling toys. Like, it's fun, and I like. If I've got a lot of Lego, I just see it as like, it's just a percentage of net worth. It's just an asset. Like, I see it the same as like holding crypto or something. I'm just holding. I know it's not gonna. I know the price of if I buy a Lego set. I know the price isn't just gonna go down massively. It's not just gonna go to zero, is it? Like, it's just somewhere else to have my money, and I don't look at it the same way as I do flipping in general. Like, there is Lego sets you can like quick flip, and there is, especially with the Black Friday deals and when you get big discounts, like you can resell it quick. But when people say they're against it, like I normally agree with all the points that they make. Like I agree with Gav saying, like, is there any point in just buying something and waiting a year for the price to go up when you could just keep recycling that money and building it? But the way I did it, I was quick flipping a lot of items. But I was also, when I had more money than I could spend on stuff with my resources at the time, I would just buy the odd Lego set that I knew I was going to hold a long time. So it was like a half and half thing for me. I don't think you need to be all in on one strategy or the other. That's the way I look at it.
I'm going to say one thing quickly. So this concept of quick flipping is what Ben coined it like 7 or 8 months ago. And then everyone seems to stuck onto that. But it's like selling it within 30 days isn't quick flips. That's normal arbitrage. When you guys buy a bloody chimney on the same day and you sell it when you're in your car, that's a quick flip. Like you sold it before you've even got fucking home. So
okay, yeah. Not quick flip then, just not
a normal flip, yeah.
Not a hold then, yeah.
So I think the way I see it, and the way we'll see it on the podcast, is that we only have a certain amount of capital, and if you can't spend all that capital, then there's always a way to spend it. I don't believe that waiting like 12 months to get 100% return on investment is the way. For example, if you have like 4 or 5 grand that you can't spend with a total capital of like 15k, then it's like, okay, is a VA going to work? So instead of like buying these items to hold for 12 months, you can scale the business instead. Because we want to go from point A to point B to point C as quick as possible and the most efficient way. Now, if I use all excess capital that I had to buy Lego, and then, or not even like half of that, and then waited 12 months to sell that on 100% ROI, for the overall business direction, that's going to slow me down quite a lot, right? Because there's a few things that happens when we do this. So we buy this, and then we hold it, but we're not learning anything. We're just buying it and holding it and selling it way off in the future. So there's an opportunity cost of like how much you make from other stuff. There's a scalability cost. There's a learning cost. So there's a lot of factors at play that I think it puts you quite behind on. And another thing, from what I've seen on Twitter from a lot of people, Lego holds is more of an emotional thing. And emotions in business can be quite dangerous.
I'm going to throw a spanner in the works then, Gav.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got your business, you've got your reselling business, which is obviously set up as a limited business now. Are you considering any investments outside of your business? Do you do anything with money outside of your business and invest it in anything that has smaller returns than what your business does with stock?
No, I was tempted to go into NFTs recently. I'm a bit tempted to that. But really, my diversifying is Amazon USA.
Yeah.
Because inventory is like, it's just so quick to flip, and you can make so much money from it. So instead of me like slowing down on my Amazon business and looking at other slower investments, it's kind of like, why not just pump the beast for the maximum return?
Yeah, I can see both sides of the story, and I can see it. I have the battle of myself, Gav. I'm thinking, why am I buying this Lego when I could use this cash to turn it over quick and doing other things? But then I think to myself, there's a risk element here, and I know that I'm going to get X amount ROI on these sets, 90% sure in a year's time, and it's a safe bet. And then I can take more chances with other stuff. I haven't got the issue of Amazon coming on the listing to crash the price. I don't have the potential IP claims that come with it, or I don't have the huge amount of other sellers coming on the listing and killing it if I'm waiting for the competition to sell out. So that is more that element with me. It's a bit more of a diverse strategy and reduce risk somewhat.
Does that make it the right answer, though?
I don't know, really. It's an interesting debate, though, isn't it?
Is that a comfort thing? Like, is that a comfort thing? Is the right answer to figure out a solution to the price tanking or Amazon smashing the listing? Because at the end of the day, that's kind of like all part of the game. I mean, over the last month, I've spent like 40 grand. No, about 40 grand on stock. Would I want to take 10 grand of that instead and put that in Lego to wait a year? Not really.
Would you want to take 10 grand of that out of your business and invest it in some, I don't know, give it to a stockbroker and say, put this in something safe for me? That gives an 8% return in the year. You almost guaranteed it.
But then inflation's like 4.5% right now.
Yeah.
So you're making about 4%. So this is the thing. We've only got so long to make money right now, guys.
Yeah,
fucking hyperinflation is here. Like, what your safe play is not safe. Your safe play is like the risk play because of hyperinflation coming soon. So I'm going to keep flipping, trying to make as much money as possible. And then I'm putting money into USA so I can get that started. And then I can look into NFTs, which is high risk. So really, I consider my Amazon business to be my sustainable income. And then the NFTs is the high risk stuff.
I think what we all agree on, though, is if your money's not doing anything, you're going backwards in the current economic climate, aren't you? With high inflation as it is and national insurance going up for employees, if you've got money in your bank, unless it's a rainy day fund, if it's sitting doing fuck all, you are going backwards, aren't you, financially?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Mate, what a world we're living right now, fucking place has gone nuts.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit jealous of all the younger lot who've realised this early on and doing stuff with their money. Like, there's like 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds out there who are way more financially astute than I was until I was 35. And I'm fucking jealous.
How old are you now? Are you 35?
I'm 36, mate.
Damn, son. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, there's a lot of young people here who are just absolutely killing it, man. It's like, fair play. You are killing life, bro. Like, they're going to go far. They're going to go so far, man.
Social media gets a bad rap a lot of the time, but it has helped so many people get access to knowledge and information they wouldn't have done 15 years ago or 20 years ago. So thank God for Twitter, eh?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about how you leverage these platforms.
Should we talk about January? What's going to happen in January?
Advent calendars still selling early Jan. That's important to know. Like, do not fucking panic when it's Christmas time and your Advent calendars have not sold. They will sell early Jan. So a lot of people in early Jan will get, like, Amazon gift cards for Christmas, that kind of stuff. So for the first 2 weeks of Jan, or even most of Jan, sales is still really good. Because
Christmas-themed items, do you think it's still going to sell well first 2 weeks of Jan?
I don't know about Christmas theme, but definitely Advent calendars do.
Are they not Christmas-themed?
Yeah, but it's not the same as Christmas lights and that kind of stuff, though, is it?
Yeah.
Or crackers.
Oh, fucking hell, I hope that is the case. I'll be sending my Lego Advent calendars in last week, December, then. Because they ain't going to sell this year.
Why?
Well, they may do, but who knows? They're very saturated listings. I know the sales velocity is going to be immense. I'm not sure how immense.
Mate, it's all these bloody new sellers, man. Man, I was comparing, like, the USA to the UK in terms of, like, price tanking. Price tanking does happen on USA, but a BSR on beauty of about 100k with 30 sellers, within a month, the number of sellers was at 2.
Yeah.
So, like, things recover super quick there. In the UK, things just get sent straight to Van Hanger, man, and it takes like 6 months to recover.
I think we've taken a while to catch up with the US with our use of Amazon. It has increased a lot over the last couple of years, and COVID is probably the best thing for Amazon here. But the US were always heavy on Prime, weren't they? And consumers were heavy on Amazon already before we were. So that probably helps. I see Dazmond's on.
Yeah, how we doing?
Hey, bro.
Another Scot.
I'm actually from Scotland, though, this time. Something related to Q4 as well, I think might be useful as well. A lot of people have just thought about toys and stuff. Just don't neglect your IPI in the process, because you might hit January and then you want to scale your business as well again, and then you don't have any storage volume. So I think you need to always keep that IPI, because we need to scale in Q1 as well. It's not just all about Q4.
Mate, I've got January's going to be big for me, and if I don't hit that 500 IPI, I think I'll chuck the towel in. That is more important to me in the next, where are we, 6 weeks? Maybe a bit longer, 8 weeks. IPI is more important to me than any sales figures, if I'm honest. Daz, any other golden nuggets? How are you doing so well? Tell us the secret.
Well, I think a lot of you know I'm a bit different than Gav, obviously, because I've got a 9 to 5 as well. But I had planned.
That's even more impressive then.
Yes, I was at uni before, so I basically planned from around April, sort of roadmap of what I was doing. So I got a prep centre in place around June, first VA and then second VA pretty quickly around that time. Had them all trained up, ready to go, and that meant I was prepared for when I started a 9 to 5. And then I've now got another VA on board as well, training up a purchaser. So I'm trying to make it so that it's sustainable, but I can also grow around the 9 to 5. So you've got to see your time as well, and how much your time is sort of worth, and the sort of scalability of what to do. Things like seller toolkit and stuff are so important. I use a USS as well. I've got a pretty similar setup to Gav by the sounds of it. So it's pretty similar, just slightly before them and without doing it full time. I'd say that's where I'm at.
Can I ask what your sales numbers were, Daz, before you got these VAs on board?
Well, I was just doing seasonal items before.
Right.
So I was running around to shops and everything. I'd done a few OA leads, but I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy sourcing either. So that's a lot of the reason why VAs for me work, and it's a time thing, but I also don't enjoy it, so I'd rather outsource it. And I've also got the income from 9 to 5, so that like covers all my expenses as well, which is quite good. Don't need to take any money out of the business, and I've got more capital I can sort of inject in. On the Q4 side of things, I took money out of other investments to put into toys, but I knew that it wasn't going to stop any growth with the VAs. I've still got plenty of money that I can spend on the deals. I'll never pass up a deal because of that. And that's the only reason I've bought so many toys over the time. And I think I'll have good rewards in December.
That's awesome, mate. So it's interesting that before you had the 9 to 5, you was doing this and you got everything set up. So when you start the 9 to 5, your reselling business can kind of run without you being involved in it, and you still got income through the 9 to 5. So why did you make the decision to go to a 9 to 5? Is that a career decision or a financial decision?
A bit of both, really. I spent 5 years at uni, and then the degree I'd done, I am actually quite interested to sort of go into the field. So I'm trying it. It's like not a bad 9 to 5 as well. Enjoy it so far. But Amazon as well will give me the freedom that if I ever didn't enjoy it or anything else, I could sort of leave that, or I can take more risks or try and, even like a lot of people get stuck in the same place. I feel like I could take a risk, leave, and then if I wanted to move somewhere I could, which is kind of like a goal. But yeah, at that point I wasn't doing enough numbers to be able to take money out of the business as well. Because I want more capital, not less capital to spend every month. So like, if I'm taking $1.5 grand out of the business every month, that's a lot of my profit from each month gone. Whereas if I can spend that extra $1.5 grand, even if it's a 20%, that's an extra £300. Compound that over time, and then
bloody hell, mate!
And you're multi-million, hopefully.
Bro, you're doing well, man. Fucking hell, you're just smashing it, bro. Holy shit! But guys, he said he doesn't take his money out of the business; he just invests it all back in, and that's key to growing the business. The more you can put back into the business, the more you'll grow. Like, I haven't taken money out of this business and paid for my living since I had the business.
Fair point, mate. Like, it's very attractive for people to think, oh, I'll do this full time, I'll pay all my bills. Well, yeah, fair enough, you pay all your bills, but if you're not growing your business, you're never going to do anything more than pay your bills. You're taking money out of it every single month. It's going to take a fucking long time to scale. So it's no fun doing this unless you've got another source of income.
Cash back. You can live off the cash back.
Oh yeah, unless you get banned. But Daz, how old are you, mate?
22.
22. So yeah, like, you boys are absolutely smashing it. Like, I'm near enough old enough to be your dad, and you're miles ahead of me, assets wise, I should think already.
Yeah, well done, I also still do put my personal money into it. If I wouldn't not put personal money in it, which is quite good with the 95 as well. Like, obviously, if I can cover more, if I can put an extra 250 quid a month, I know that's worth that more than, sort of my thinking with toys as well was, most people my age would probably put like, say, 200 quid in a month in an ISA. And your stock market returns, even if it's 10%, I know I can flip that 6 times in a year at 20%, pretty comfortably. So it's a no-brainer. Or even if it's so much money I don't have enough deals, I can put in the money for toys or something. Even if I'm making 50%, it's better there than in an ISA. But 100%. In general, if it's holding me back though, I won't put money in toys. That's the way I'd describe it.
Well, it's better than putting your money in this than what a few of us were putting our money in 2 years ago, isn't it? So, yeah, well done, mate.
Back anyway. Yeah.
Is Harry jumping on, is he?
Yeah, I'm in. You alright, guys?
Alright,
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Yourself?
We're good, mate. We've got another young lad who's absolutely killing it, who's about to talk. So go on, Harry, what's happening, mate?
Not a lot. No, I've just been observing what you guys are saying. No, I think I agree with you on both sides of things. So, you know, with like replens and selling toys, like, it's good to hear both sides of the coin, sort of thing. So yeah, no, it's Connor's effectively what Gav is doing, but on a seasonal level. So you can take it two different routes, but yeah, no, it's good to do both, I think.
Mm-hmm. Connor's probably using a lot more calories up than Gav is, though, in his general business model.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's your plan then for Q4, Harry? You got any targets numbers-wise?
Yeah, I haven't really been too active in the Grave Train, been quite busy recently, but yeah, I've probably put about 99% of my capital into Q4. Yeah, it's going to be hopefully a big one. I've probably got about 1,500 units in, probably about nearly 25 to 30 grand's worth of stock, so I'm hoping it's going to go well. Hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like you could have a good month.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, luckily with storage volumes and restock limits, I've been fine so far. So yeah, that's all been good. But aim is have a good Q4, get the money in, get a VA soon, train them up. I've done the prep centre, and then focus on replans for next year.
Nice one. So is this your first Q4?
Yeah, first Q4. Yeah.
Bloody hell!
Yeah, I was going to ask that. You've really scaled pretty quick in the grand scheme of things, mate. Like you're talking like someone who's quite experienced.
Yeah, I'm very not. Ridley, you and Gravy helped me get started. You both know that. I've probably been around for only 6 months. Yeah, but no, it's quite mental. All you've got to trust is keeper, basically.
Yeah, keeper is your friend. There's another man who's listening here, Arbitrage AS, who's probably only 3 months into his reselling journey, probably only a month on Amazon, and I think he had 5k in his first month, which is very impressive for an Amazon seller. But he's also going into his first Q4, and I'm kind of a bit jealous because you're just going to be amazed by the sales velocity, I think, and it's so much fun.
Did you all sell on Amazon last Q4?
Yeah, we did.
Kind of.
I was suspended, so.
I remember
Q4.
that.
Yeah, so I only got started mid-February on Amazon. I was just on eBay. I was doing about 20 packages a day. Small items, yeah. It was pretty intense. So I'm glad.
What was your suspended reason, Daz?
It was the ones that have been coming up recently with the authenticity of the receipt. But there was 1 or 2 receipts that I'd submit them. They'd say one was fine, and then they'd ask for the other one again. And then I'd submit that one, and they'd ask for the other one again. So it was just going round in circles for like 2 months. But it was worth it in the end, obviously, to get back on mid-Feb. And then the rest is history.
It just shows you, doesn't it, that you get most issues as a new seller than when you're an experienced seller. You guys were talking about this on your podcast the other day, and you get so much more stress as a new seller than an experienced seller. They tend to pick on the new sellers more. I think it's just to prove that they're genuine sellers. So it does get easier, guys. If any of you have been struggling with getting deactivated and that, it does get a bit easier. Touch wood.
Yeah. My account has like 8 warnings on it, and it's still in good health.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the volume I'm doing. So more volume will actually kind of protect you more. But it is kind of scary that Amazon could potentially do that. But
yeah, well, Gage had what? I was speaking to Gage the other day. He had about 18 warnings on his thing, and he was still in good health. So it really is in correlation to how many sales you do.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
It's like Charlie was saying on the last spaces we did, that not that this is particularly good advice, but I do it as well. Like a lot of the problems and warnings you get from Amazon, half the time you can just ignore it and the problem seems to sort itself out. Not that I'm suggesting anyone should do that, but especially when I was only a few months in and I didn't know how to handle anything that was threw at me, I would kind of just ignore it and then it would go away.
It does seem to be the case of everything. I think Resellers did a podcast on it. He said last Q4 everyone was like getting compliance requests all over the place. He just said he didn't submit a single one, and they all disappeared late November.
Like Gravy said, it does seem to be the new sellers that struggle with it. I mean, was it January this year? I think it was when everyone was doing the printers and things, and so many people who just joined reselling groups were getting banned instantly because they were like, the Amazon account would get activated and then they'd sell like 10 printers in a day via like FBM, and then Amazon's like, try to check they're legit. So all these people were just getting banned left, right, and centre. It's crazy. I think like, I don't know, in PFP there was like, we had like 10 members getting banned from Amazon within the same week, and I don't know if it was just from pure sales volume.
Yeah.
Or if
the sales velocity, that was the problem.
Yeah. And revenue. Your revenue was too high because printers were selling for so much. So it's like, what, day one you got like 2k revenue.
Yeah.
Then by your first month you done like 50k revenue. Amazon's like, hold on, the fuck is happening here?
Alarm bells everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. Like so many, yeah, it's happened to so many people.
Do we think that seasonal items, the garden furniture trends are going to change a lot next spring? We're only a few months away from spring. Do you think it was chimneys, it was patio heaters were a big thing? Mm-hmm. What's your guys' thoughts for next year, early spring?
In January, I've been looking at the keeper for kayaks, all swimming pools from the EU markets, from the American markets. So I look at every single market for these hot items. And then I'm trying to gauge what Amazon's stock level is. If it looks like Amazon's a little bit weak globally, then probably going to go deep. But if they're coming in pretty strong in terms of stock, then nah, fuck that.
Do you think the demand's going to be there, though, Gav? With let's assume COVID's not going to return at full strength in the winter, and we're not going to be locked down. Do you think there's going to be the demand like there was this year and last year?
Well, to be honest, mate, this year the demand wasn't that good because summer was shit. Let's be honest.
But
we still made a lot of money.
Consumers didn't know that. Consumers didn't know summer was going to be shit. They were buying, assuming it would be good. Well,
yes and no, because if you realise from the keeper, consumers buy a week before the weather forecast says it's going to be hot. So there was like 2 periods where the sales for swimming pools was just absolutely insane. And then after that, it kind of just leveled off and it wasn't that great.
Do you I guess that lockdown was lifted then. But I don't know about you. I didn't think about when lockdown was lifted, I'm going to go on holiday now. I think there's been a financial squeeze on a lot of people, and also a habit thing where people aren't thinking as much about going away on holiday. Or is that just me?
No, I think you are right. I think there's way less people going on holidays. But I mean, we're going back to square one because it all depends on Amazon stock. If you look at the previous years, Amazon never used to go out of stock. They only started going out of stock due to COVID. So if Amazon are not able to go out of stock, then we're gonna fuck up if we buy like 500 swimming pools because we have to sell them at a loss.
If the demand does drop a bit, then if the supply's dropped a bit, then we're fine. We've got the same balance.
Exactly. What is funny though, on the kayaks, there's only like 500 people watching that item. So that means potentially, if Amazon come back in stock, it's like 5,000 units of kayaks gone.
Be interesting if it's the same. We can't always assume it's going to be the same patterns every year, can we though? Apart from Christmas, you can't.
No. That's why you need to look at the stock during January and Feb. Because I'd imagine it takes quite a bit of time to backfill like 20, 40, 50,000 swimming pools of each category. I don't think that can be an immediate thing, like they're just going to appear randomly. So I think they need time to sort of backfill that amount of stock. But like they do at retailers, that's why a lot of the retailers like Smith's, the Best Way pool, they had tons of that really early, and then they just don't restock it. So I think it takes a lot of time to get that amount of stock. So in January and February, it all depends on what the stock levels of Amazon is. And online retailers, that's important too. Because I think this year, in February, I started buying swimming pools in March. And one of the things I did was I contacted a lot of wholesalers to ask them about their stock levels. And yeah, they all said they were short. And then Amazon was short as well. So it's like, okay, that's a green light.
We're all very focused on Christmas, aren't we? But spring's going to come around very quickly. Before you know it, we'll all be buying pools again. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But data is key, Gav, isn't it? Like you say.
Exactly. But thinking like this, though, it doesn't always make sense to get into these trending seasonal items. Because one thing I realised is that whilst I was focused on these during the summer, that's a lot of direction away from my team as a whole. So I could have got my team focusing on like seasonal items like SPS, more SPFs and that kind of stuff, building my team up. And the question is, in the longer run, would I have got more rewards from my team doing all this kind of stuff? Whereas if I needed capital and I didn't have a team, then the swimming pools would have been perfect. But in my scenario, was swimming pools the best move and kayaks, or was the best move more focus on my employees?
Yeah, I think when you get to a certain level, it's great to have a focus as a business. And if you're constantly shifting your focus, depending on the time of year, it can be quite difficult for people to adapt, can't it? Like in any business, if you move with seasons, it can be difficult.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's like one of the guys who I speak to sometimes, he does like 15 million plus revenue per year. And what he told me was, what got you here won't get you there. So I keep that quote in my head. Because printers and swimming pools got me here, but where I want to go, will it get me there? Not really.
Where do you want to go?
Mate, to the fucking moon, man. I want to be doing like 1 million, 3 million, 4 million per month revenue in USA. I want the UK to sustain my lifestyle while I travel, and then USA just fucking scale and scale and scale.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys?
I look forward to seeing that journey.
Yeah, man. What about you guys?
I've not shifted any focus outside of Amazon UK at the moment. I'm just planning next year to get into more, just having a lot more listings. Like, what did you say? You've got about 500 active listings right now, Gav?
Yeah.
Like, I want to get more to, just have more shit selling all the time. Start using a lot of the stuff we've talked about today is going to come in handy. Start making use of a repricer. Just be more aggressive with my buying, I think, is the next step for me. But it'll be interesting to see moving into the US market how that goes. Have you already started selling on the US? Did you say?
Yeah, I've got an LLC now, so
okay. Oh, nice.
I'm training my VA to be a purchasing manager on the UK, and then he's going to be a purchasing manager on the USA. So he's already going to start doing the buying for me. But it's insane, man. The ROI is just so much higher. It's like, I think I set him to like minimum 40% ROI there. He's finding too much.
Mm.
How long did the LLC take in the US? Because I'm quite interested in that for next year.
3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
To set it up. It's like, I'll be straight out. It's a bit of a ball ache and it's quite expensive. I think it cost me like a couple of grand to get set up.
But the scalability and the ROIs over there.
It's infinite.
Yeah, exactly. So it's worth it.
Yeah. Like Soros does like over 1 million per month. Just doing shoes. Only does he sell shoes.
Yeah, I've seen this, yeah. Mental market over there. You think about it as well, the US, what I think is like, most British people can just pop to the shops. Whereas I think it's a bit harder in the US, which is probably why they love Prime so much.
Oh, it's more
very
spacious.
good point.
Yeah.
Very good point, Daz, isn't it? Like, everything's so spread out, isn't it? And it takes half hour just to get to nearest road sometimes, never mind the nearest shop. So yeah, you probably hit the nail on the head there while they utilise it more. So what's your plans, Daz, then? You're looking at US then, obviously?
Yeah, so what I'm looking at, get Christmas done. I'm in the middle of training up a purchasing manager. Might not use them like full-time purchasing manager, just so that if I'm ever busy or like I'm on holiday, so that the business can still run. So it's more of a sustainable business. Probably get another 1 VA for UK. And then just purely because of the sort of ROI in the US, I think my money might be better spent and time looking into the
Okay,
US.
bro, hold on, like straight up, man. You need the UK to be like 80% plus outsourced before you move to the USA. Because I moved to the USA too quick with the UK LTD, and I kind of fucked myself there a bit. So I pivoted them back to the UK, those VAs, got the LLC set up, systemised the UK more, and now I'm getting him ready to go back to the USA. So until your purchasing manager gets really good and you've got more systems and automations in place, don't jump to the USA too soon, because it can bite.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Get the system in place, system sorted, move on to the next system, which will be the US. And then it's the same sort of model, just obviously different country.
All right, perfect.
I was to chat with earlier with the Repricer. I've switched from Profit Protector Pro to SDK, and I've seen a huge difference already in a few days.
Yes, bro, dude. Why does everybody fucking love PFP? I mean, Profit Protector Pro. It's just lazy. It's just for lazy people, man. You have no control.
Ridley, I edit that out, mate. Don't worry.
Sorry, Ridley.